Good evening. Nearly 20,000 signatures tied up with ribbon and carried in a baby's basket faced the Otago Area Health Board today. Dunedin people are up in arms about the Otago Area Health Board plan to shift maternity services from Queen Mary Hospital to Dunedin Public. Michael Lynch was there when they sang their worries to the board today.
Let them all go away and leave us alone to give birth in a place of our own.
Nearly 20,000 signatures in 3 weeks isn't bad going for any petition. It's a measure of the opposition to the closure of Queen Mary Maternity Hospital. Queen Mary is one of the few standalone maternity hospitals left in the country, and the petitioners want it to stay that way.
Many of these signatures have been collected door to door by mothers of young children who have found time in their busy lives to register a protest. Many, including myself, are angry at the way this decision seems to have been made without consulting those most affected.
But the Health Board says shifting maternity to a self-contained ward in public will actually provide a better service. Today's Key Board Finance Committee meeting held the issue over for a month. All its advisory groups are in favour of the change. But now, partly to satisfy the petitioners, detailed comparative costings of the shift will be publicised. The board's plugging on with its other cost-cutting. Dunedin's Fulton geriatric homes for sale, on condition present patients aren't adversely affected. One Dunedin Hospital children's ward will close at weekends, except in emergencies. And the intention's still there to shift the intellectually handicapped into community care. But there's a big turnaround in the threat to close country hospitals. Mosgiel and Cromwell may now follow Ranfurly's lead and have local community trusts take over the hospitals. They could get government geriatric subsidies, save money and keep a local facility going. Again, the closure decisions have been deferred. The board's pulling back on some of its cost-cutting schemes. Whether the cuts will be enough may be answered in next week's budget.
200 people braved wintry conditions in Oamaru last night to talk rubbish. A joint committee from Oamaru Borough and Waitaki County is about to decide on where the town's next rubbish disposal area will be, and it's creating lots of controversy. With that story is John McDermott.
Oamaru's current tip is fast running out of space and has had the thumbs down from the health department. It's proposed to replace it with a much more environmentally sensitive sanitary landfill site, and the one the consulting engineer favours is here in this reasonably isolated gully.
Its size is such that you can do all the things we need to do in a sanitary landfill. Its access is good. It's out of sight from the main road down to the Bushy Beach.
So at Bushy Beach, nature would seem to have provided the ideal site, but from nature also comes the major stumbling block. The favoured site is just over the hill from a colony of rare yellow-eyed penguins. About 14 birds have made their year-round home here. They set out for sea each morning, returning close to dusk to their homes in the bush. One couple have been nesting here for at least 6 years. Honorary Ranger Jim Caldwell sets traps to keep predators like wild cats and ferrets away. He believes the rubbish site would bring more and can't believe anyone would want to take that risk.
Well, I just think it's a shame that a tip is placed so close to a scenic reserve. It just seems a very strange thing to do and risk the fragile bird life that is here at Bushy Beach.
But Royce Evans believes that a properly managed sanitary landfill would not be a breeding ground for penguin predators.
The material is spread out thinly on the slope and then it's compacted and then covered each day.
Also being considered is another site at Ardgowan, kilometres away from the penguins, but also with its pluses and minuses.
This site is a lot less environmentally sensitive than the Witten site, but on the other hand it's much steeper. You can see the gully's quite narrow, and access is going to be a problem because we have to provide an access around an unstable slope down the bottom there.
Public interest is high. 100 written submissions have been received, and last night the public had their say at a meeting called by the Joint Council.
But what does worry me is the number of trucks, you say, that are going to be coming down Bushy Beach Road.
And this habitat of the yellow-eyed penguin is something that the Oamaru Regional Council could make a very much greater thing of.
All this adds up to a big headache for the council that will have to make the decision.
Whilst I accept all of the arguments about the environment and the penguins and all the rest of it, and have been associated with the council during the time that it initiated the moves to make that a scenic reserve, I do put the concerns of people first.
The options on the sites all run out next week, so the decision whether to go ahead with the controversial Bushy Beach site will be made soon.
The city has a new look bus, and this one really is a first. It's the only up and running automatic midi bus in the world. Its smaller size means it's more cost efficient than regular sized buses. Carolyn Harper checked it out.
It's not a minibus nor a maxi bus, but a midi bus, Dunedin's cure for half-empty vehicles. This half-size bus will be operating from Monday on city routes where there are few passengers. A special feature of the new bus is the lower step up. There are only 2 steps to negotiate rather than the 3 in regular buses. On Friday, the midi bus will be operating on a variety of routes, and as it's the first day, rides will be free.
Weaving through the reconstruction debris around Dunedin's Octagon seems to have become almost a way of life in the past few months, but the end is in sight. The Octagon's repaved the towers on the council chambers, and the $5.5 million redevelopment is on target for completion in October. Michael Lynch has a progress report.
Gone are the old sloping lawns of Dunedin's Octagon. The plumbing of the Star Fountain is no more. The face of the Octagon is changing by the day. The top of the council building is going back to the shape it was originally. The interior is being gutted. A ground floor restaurant set up and the old council chambers restored. The Oamaru stone balustrades have been rebuilt. It's been a painstaking job. Not the least the rebuilding in concrete of the splendid little observation room on top of the tower. It's one of the highest spots in Dunedin. Working up here through the winter hasn't been easy, but the end is now in sight.
It's quite spectacular, especially the top roof.
Yeah. You can sort of appreciate the effort the old guys put into it when they built it in the first place.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a lot harder than what we've had to, especially getting stuff up and down.
The Octagon does look interesting from up here. The redesign has been a sore point with some shopkeepers and taxi drivers. But the pavings come in for its share of complaints. But the covered walkways do look well in the evening, and the public at least is coming round to a new way of seeing things.
Oh, it's very good.
What do you like about it?
Well, it's good. It brings the city a bit more upmarket than what it used to be.
Oh, they're very nice. Oh, yes, it's lovely to all complete, won't it?
I think it's probably better than a musical fountain.
The clock faces should be back in the Octagon Tower over the next couple of months. And with a bit of luck with the weather, the bell's ringing once again.
Not quite the clangor some thought it might be. That's the programme for tonight. I won't be with you tomorrow night, but I will be back on Monday, so have a good weekend. Good night.